I've been looking a lot in terms of skills and learning into the difference between specialists and polymath. Specialists, which are very vertical, knowing one thing really, really well. And then you have polymaths, which have, by definition, around about at least 3 different skills that all sit around the top 25% or something like that. And the cross pollination of those skill sets actually create unique opportunities for people like that. I'm a person like that. I know a lot about a lot of different things, and I'm not a highly specialized specialist. So my value is different. So question to you is, do you see, as much as a lot of people are still trying to be world-class at something, the value in learning a skill to a certain level quicker, but having multiple ones in comparison to specialists spending a lot of energy of driving one skill and one skill only to the highest possible level? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a very important point, because this is a decision we all have to make. We all are good at certain skills and just good enough to be useful to us, and that's it. So I just mean in our lives. So, for example, pretty much every adult has learned how to drive, and we're not expert race car drivers, but we can drive without even thinking about it. We got good enough, and then we didn't advance any further, and that was fine. It didn't make any sense for us to advance even further. For that matter, a lot of sports that most people do, we're just good enough. We're not the world's greatest golfer or anything else like that, but we're good enough to go have fun with it, and that's fine. That's all we need to do. At the same time, what are you going to be, and that's valuable, right? And even in work, having some knowledge, some skills that you're not world class at, that's still valuable, because it gives you a perspective into other parts of the business. You understand the whole much better because you have some of the skills that are involved across the enterprise, let's say, or even more broadly than that. The question that we all have to answer for ourselves, and it's strictly for ourselves, is, at what thing do we want to be really, really good, and how far down that road do we want to go? That's really what it comes down to, because we know the road to world-class great performance. We know how to get there now. The research has shown it. The question is, how far down that road do we want to go? Because when you look at the people who have gone as far as possible, the world's greatest musicians or athletes, they have often had to sacrifice a huge amount in the rest of their lives. Sometimes they've had to sacrifice relationships and other things that are extremely valuable. Their life can, in some sense, be very narrow. They are so totally focused on this one thing. And it may be that a lot of us, even though we know how to get there, we don't want to get there. We want to have a life. That's fine. That's a perfect, you're allowed to say that. It's a perfectly legitimate answer. But we have to face it, and ideally really face it explicitly, consciously. Say, how far down this road do I want to go? There will always be world-class great performers. And there will always be value to having what you were describing, a wide sense of knowledge and skills, that aren't specifically related to just one thing. There's no good or bad. There's no best or worst, but it is a decision. And if we make that decision consciously, being honest only with ourselves, because that's all that matters, that's important.